Hello, Internet. It is I, Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about In the Lost Lands. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. So, let's talk about our leads here, or two leads. We got Mila Jovovich, and we can talk about her first. Mila Jovovich, the wife of Paul W.S. Anderson. So the fact that she's in this movie made by Paul W.S. Anderson, it doesn't surprise me in the slightest. These two have collaborated with each other for so many years that it shouldn't come as a shock at all that the two would end up, being together in real life. But yeah, so Mila Jovovich. She's been around for a good minute. The first main movie I would recognize is Fifth Element, a movie I've never seen, but I probably should at some point. I mean, The Fifth Element was a big hit back in '97, and I don't remember her being in Zoolander. That's kind of weird. But Resident Evil as Alice, yeah, a character who was never in the games. So she was literally, Mila Jovovich was literally playing an OC in a Resident Evil movie. That's literally what she did. And the Resident Evil movies were successful. I mean, were they good? No. But enough people watched them, even though I'm kind of surprised people would, because these Resident Evil movies, they're less adaptations and more just fan fiction, not even good fan fiction at that. So, but yeah, I might as well mention all the Resident Evil movies. Resident Evil 1, Apocalypse, Extinction, Afterlife, Retribution, Final Chapter. Just mention them all right here. So that's where most people would recognize Mila Jovovich from, is the Resident Evil movies, because there's so many of them. But besides those, there's Ultraviolet, which I don't think anyone remembers at all. Perfect Getaway, Fourth Kind, movies, again, no one really remembers. Three Musketeers, no. Oh, I'm willing to bet there's not one person watching this video be like, oh yeah, I saw that movie. That movie was, or it was, oh yeah, that movie was great. I don't think you exist. I seriously doubt it. Apparently, she was in Zoolander too. She reprised her role. Not like I would know that because I've never seen Zoolander 2, just like everybody else. Oh, the Hellboy reboot that we all want to forget about. Yeah, she was in that, and it's best we don't mention that reboot ever because it was a huge mistake. And then the Monster Hunter movie, man, so many forgettable movies here. I mean, it's not her fault, but it's the movies themselves that are just forgettable. Yeah, there was a Monster Hunter movie. I guess it's relevant to talk about that, considering Monster Hunter Wilds just came out like last week. So it's fitting I'm talking about this. But yeah, Monster Hunter. I'm not gonna, you know, knock on his performance too much because it came out at a really, really, really bad time for movies. December 2020. So no one was going to the movies at all because, COVID was in full force at this point. Vaccine, I think, just came out around that time. So obviously it was going to take a while before it would really have like an effect on things. So yeah, that movie was screwed straight up. So yeah, I'm not going to knock on his performance because of that, because of circumstances. But yeah, Mila Jovovich, she mainly just has like the Resident Evil movies and Fifth Element, and that's kind of it. So yeah, and then we got Dave Batista. So Dave Batista, former wrestler turned actor. I still remember from his WWE days. That's where I first recognized him. And just seeing him from like as a wrestler to now, as an actor, I say out of all the wrestler turned actors out there, he's probably the second most successful of the bunch, only behind The Rock. And that's because, the man is Drax. Is Drax the Destroyer. He lucked out big when James Gunn, cast him as Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy, that first movie, which was, probably the biggest success story of 2014. A very sad year for the box office because it was so weak. And Guardians of the Galaxy was probably the biggest bright spot out of everything that came out. So yeah, after that, I mean, Batista's Drax. He's been in several MCU movies since Guardians Volume 2, Volume 3, and then Infinity War, Endgame, and Thor Love and Thunder. They're kind of more just extended cameos, didn't really play like a big role in either movie. But yeah, yeah, Batista's Drax, super recognizable. There's also Inspector, which was a big hit, but he didn't really play. He was kind of like a main henchman, like in that movie. From what I remember, Blade Runner 2049. That movie wasn't a financial hit. It should have been, but it wasn't. So that's upsetting. Hotel Everett. I don't. Not Everett. Oh my gosh. Artemis. Well, no one really watched that. No one watched Stuber either. Oh My Spy, a movie that was literally just put. I remember that movie getting pushed around the calendar so long. By the time it was just about to release theatrically, you know what happened? COVID happened and it got canceled. Like, talk about a cursed movie. But then after that, we got Dune Part 2, where it's part of like a big ensemble cast. Glass Onion, I can't really talk about because it's just a Netflix movie that got like a special like 7 day run in theaters, so can't really discuss that. And there's Knock at the Cabin, it's Killer's Game, which nobody gave a damn about, and Last Showgirl. But yeah, Dave Bautista, super recognizable thanks to the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and also the Dune movies. I mean, the fact that he can go between like a goofy MCU character, a relatively goofy character, to something more serious like Dune. I mean, he has more versatility than a lot of these wrestler turned actors, especially The Rock, Dwayne. Definitely more than him, because The Rock is kind of notorious for just almost like every movie he's just playing himself pretty much, and so they all just kind of blend in together. These Dave Bautista's willing to like play like different roles. So yeah. Yeah, so we got two very recognizable leads here, so that's a pro. And then we got Justin Chat, which can I even met? I don't. Oh my god! Holy fuck! Goku, White Goku from Dragon Ball Evolution. I never thought I'd be talking about Dragon Ball Evolution. I may have talked about it before, but I didn't think I'd be talking about it again. But here we are. Damn, that movie is 16 years old. It is one of the worst things that ever graced the silver screen. It failed at everything pretty much. It failed at the completely failed the character of Goku, because Goku in that movie was not Goku. The fact that you got this white kid playing Goku, okay, that's strike number one. Strike number two, this character wasn't Goku at all. Didn't act like Goku one bit. And it's just, ugh. I can go on and on about Dragon Ball Evolution, but that movie's been talked about to death, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I don't think he plays like a big role here in this movie, but it's not like that we have a lot of other movies to like talk about when it comes to him. Oh no. We got Super Babies, Baby Geniuses too. We're just getting the best movies on here. We're just only talking about only the best movies, nothing else. With this guy, let's just move on before I lose my mind. And then we got Paul W.S. Anderson, the director. His track record is interesting. to say the least. Start with the first Mortal Kombat movie, a movie that I will forever say is it's good in a way that it's like guilty pleasure good, but it's not like a terrible movie. It's a surprisingly decent video game movie. Like, sure, there's no violence, which is what Mortal Kombat's all about, but it has a really goofy tone and just like the atmosphere of it. It's a fun movie. That's what I say. It's a fun movie. Event Event Horizon. I think that movie actually has a cult following. Like some people do like really kind of like that movie, but I may be wrong. But I will check just to make sure that I'm not just saying things. Yeah, yeah. In the years since the film has developed a cult following, is referenced in other works of popular culture. So, yeah, even though the movie was a flop financially, according to Wikipedia here, it was a flop. It did have a cult following, so I'd say that's good. Soldier, I don't think anyone remembers what that movie was. And then Resident Evil. Some people believe he directed all the Resident Evil movies. That's not true. He only directed the 1, 4, 5, and 6. He didn't direct 2 and 3. Okay, so that might be a bit of a misconception right there. But he did direct AVP, Alien vs. Predator, a movie that was a mistake because they made it PG-13, which was like the worst decision you could have made with a movie like that. But it was a hit financially. And then you had Death Race, which was that even a hit? I don't think it was. I'll check just to make sure. It's not really. It wasn't like a real big hit. It got direct DVD sequels, if that means anything. The Three Musketeers, that was a bomb. Pompeii, bomb. Monster Hunter, I'm not gonna. I already mentioned that. Why I'm not gonna be too harsh on it. But yeah, but the thing is, most of Paul W. S. Anderson's movies are not very good. They're known for their rather low quality. I mean, some of these movies did get cult followings, like Mortal Kombat Event Horizon, but some of these are just considered just trash movies. So if you have too many trash movies on your resume, then that's not good. It just taints your name. That's all it does. So, but still, I guess there's enough hits here to like enough hits compared to misses. So I guess I don't know. I'll label Paul W. S. Anderson as more of a middle ground. He's neither a pro or a con. Okay, now for actual cons, this will be real easy. Reviews are ass. Some of the worst of the whole year. 18% critic score. Considering Paul W. S. Anderson's track record, this isn't the most surprising thing in the world. Its audience score is also ass. 51%. That's death right there. That's straight up death. And now I'm curious what the vibe is. I need to know what people are saying. Uh let's see. Okay. Let's see. I'm seeing some 4 stars, which is kind of surprising. But I don't know if I trust this review. It says great cinematography, good story, good chemistry with leading characters, God supporting cast. That's literally what it says. So that's one review. You got 2.5 stars. Says the movie is a bit slow, not as much action as I expected. You got 1.5 stars. Says visual effects were good. I like Ailey Jover's character. Who is that? Ailey, it doesn't matter. Ailey Jover's character, but the other characters were wooden and the script average. I felt like this was a failed attempt to hitch on the Mad Max wagon. So I guess in their sense, it feels like Mad Max light. I feel like that's what this review is trying to say. Um, let's see. 1 star. Felt like everyone just phoned in their performance and they had to resort to slow motion in the action scenes to make something feel exciting. And while that failed to do the trick, the werewolf special effects weren't as bad as the rest of the movie. And then we got a half star. It says, not worth your time or money. uh, let's see. Half star. Worst film I've seen in years. Just horrible. They got another 4 stars. It says, I liked the story, but found the ending a little confusing. Da, da, da. Let's see. Another 1.5 stars. It says, plot confusing and all over the place. They got 3 stars. I received the ticket at no cost. You have to be a huge fan of the main stars to want to see it. Reminded me of Van Helsing meets Riddick. So, yeah, so reactions are all over the place, but the general consensus is this movie's not great at all. So, word of mouth in general is bad across the board. It's not even a cinema score because I guess it's not enough theaters to get a cinema score. So all I got is with the Rotten Tomatoes scores, and they're both bad. So that's a con. Another con is marketing. I saw ads on YouTube like this week, but I still get the vibe that most people didn't know this movie existed until they saw those ads because there wasn't like some like grand marketing or anything, not even like average marketing. It felt like this movie just appeared out of thin air. And that's not how you market, right? You have to market in advance. You got to have awareness be high before it comes out. You can't just have last minute marketing and expect people to show up. That's not how you do things. So, yeah, marketing being more or less non-existent, I will label that as a con. Another con is that, well, there's a lot of movies coming out this weekend, but the only movie that's actually gonna make a little bit of money, or at least some money, really, is Mickey 17. Everything else is just there, and this is one of those movies that's just there. And so that's a con right there. And this is the fact that things are just so just so bland and uneventful at the box office. It's just pathetic. It's just sad. Like usually at the start of March, things are supposed to, get good, right? Like they're supposed to like really, get going. That's how it was last year with Dune Part 2, how that kicked off March. This is the polar opposite this year, where like nothing's clicking, nothing's popping off. It's just a box office depression across the board. And this movie is going to contribute to said depression. So I say box office depression. I will label that as a con. Um, I think that's really it because I can't think of anything else. Regardless, wait, who was even distributing this movie? I don't even know. Vertical Entertainment. Who is that? Okay, they released some movies that no one watched. There's Elevation. There's The Exorcism. Gotti, the 0% reviewed movie with John Travolta. That's their biggest. That's one of the most recognizable movie. That should tell you everything right there. So that fact that Vertical Entertainment has no hits whatsoever under their belt, that's a con too. But yeah, I think we're done now. So opening weekend, um, $1 million. It might hit. May I don't even have a theater count to work with, so I'm just gonna say $1 million or less, and its final total will be like 2 million or less, and then that's it. So we got 4 more movies. Yep, it's one of those weekends. One of those weekends I absolutely hate because there's too many movies coming out, and none of them are all that interesting except maybe Mickey 17. At least I have something to talk about with that. But everything else is just a nothing burger. So this is going to be a long night for me. But yeah, stay tuned for the rest of these not reviews, prediction videos. But yeah, so that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn notifications, share the whole drill. You want to check out more videos like this? Got playlists on the homepage, all previous prediction videos I made this year, the past few years. Want to watch any of them? Go right ahead. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. February recap, that should be next week ish. Probably over the weekend next week. That's most likely when that video will drop. And that video was not going to be super positive because even the big movie of February, Captain America: Brave New World, it didn't exactly, set the world on fire. So, yeah, that's not it's not going to be a fun video, but still, stay tuned for it. And I guess for my March recap, that will be uh mid-April, probably after between April 11th and the 18th. And I have a feeling I'm going to be saying the same thing about March because March is just so uneventful. It's just sad. It really is. Like March is supposed to be hype, and this is the furthest thing away from hype. So yeah, so stay tuned for that recap video. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. There's also the canceled series, 250 episodes of all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. I never talked about In the Lost Lands at all because I didn't know it existed. So, want to watch any of the past all the canceled episodes I made, you want to binge watch them all, go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.